tonight.
He can't, in fact, wipe away his record.
The Democrats train their fire.
I can't beat him on the airwaves, but I can beat him on the debate stage.
Zeroing in on a new target as a surging Michael Bloomberg readies to hit the Las Vegas debate stage.
And
by then, the epidemic had spread.
The outbreak spreading across the globe draws concerns over China's response to the coronavirus.
Plus,
they're just like us.
Virginians are turning away from the Old Dominion, looking to West Virginia to escape new blue laws in the Commonwealth.
And
crash into the wall, into the air.
The miraculous survival story in the wake of this fiery crash at the Daytona 500. All this and more on Faith Nation.
Democrats prepare to face off in Nevada with a new wild card in the mix. Welcome to Faith Nation. I'm Jenna Browder.
And I'm Jennifer Wishon. We'll get to 2020, but first, we begin with the coronavirus. It's on a deadly rampage across the globe, killing people by the thousands in China, with the number of infected Americans doubling.
And more than half of China is on lockdown or travel restriction. And there are concerns about how the Chinese government is handling the crisis.
Greater concern with regard just to this coronavirus alone is a secrecy and control of the Chinese Communist Party. Of course, this goes all the way back to the beginning of December. Didn't really start coming out until mid-January. By then, the epidemic had spread.
China's latest numbers show more than 1,800 coronavirus deaths on the country's mainland. Confirmed cases totaling more than 72,000. Yesterday, 14 Americans infected with the virus were flown to military bases in California and Texas.
In political news tonight, all eyes are on Nevada as Democrats get ready to debate there tomorrow night. This time with billionaire Michael Bloomberg on stage. This as President Trump makes a rare visit to heavily Democratic California today to campaign for his re-election. CBN News White House correspondent Ben Kennedy has that story. Ben?
Jenna, President Trump will attend a couple Republican fundraisers and then meet with organizers of the 2028 Summer Olympics in California, then spend the night in Nevada. He was asked before boarding Air Force One if it was a campaign strategy to be in Nevada while Democrats are focusing on the caucuses there. Take a listen.
Well, I'll be making a speech in Nevada, and that will be probably the day before, I guess, as they have it arranged. That seems to be pretty effective. We got more votes than any incumbent president in history in Iowa and in New Hampshire, as you saw. And in that case, I went just before the day before, and I went the day before in both cases, Iowa and New Hampshire. So it seems to be effective.
Now, Trump's past trips to the West Coast were met with protests on immigration-related issues. Odds are that topic will come up in the next round of Democratic debates in Nevada tomorrow. And as you heard at the top of the show, Bloomberg qualified. The former New York City mayor will stand alongside his Democratic rivals for the first time tomorrow. He's been using TV ads to campaign and on Monday took aim at Bernie Sanders, accusing his campaign of negative energy. Bloomberg will join Sanders, Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren. A new NPR PBS NewsHour poll shows Bloomberg with 19% support nationally, even surpassing Biden.
Michael Bloomberg, with $62 billion, can buy every ad he wants, but he can't, in fact, wipe away his record on everything from dealing with stop and frisk to his foreign policy.
I can't beat him on the airwaves, but I can beat him on the debate stage.
Bloomberg's campaign did release a statement early this morning saying he's looking forward to the debate. Jennifer?
And Ben, we understand Trump's former national security advisor spoke publicly for the first time since the impeachment trial.
Yeah, Jennifer, we're talking about John Bolton here. He bashed his old boss at Duke University Monday night, accusing the White House of censoring his upcoming book. He reportedly alleges Trump was directly tied to the pressure campaign on Ukraine. Bolton said, quote, "This is an effort to write history, and I did it the best I can." But the White House claims the book contains classified information and is now under security review. Bolton criticized the president for not being tough enough on Russia and even called the meeting with Kim Jong-un a failure. Bolton also adds the White House's approach to Iran is not working out. In fact, he said it is failing. Jennifer?
Ben Kennedy at the White House, thank you.
And joining the conversation for our Faith Nation political panel, CBN Chief Political Analyst David Brody. David, what do you think? Michael Bloomberg, he's in the race, President Trump. He is going to Las Vegas tonight. Yeah. He's been in Iowa. He's been in New Hampshire. What's the strategy here?
Well, he's a bit of a troller in chief, if you will. I mean, he just keeps going to where they go. They can't get rid of him. And plus, I think part of it is, my crowd was better than your crowd. I think that's part of it, too. But I think the tangible net effect on the ground for Brad Parscale and the campaign is that these are swing states, many of them, New Hampshire, Iowa for sure, New Hampshire and Nevada to a degree, but they're getting new voters, they're getting some independents, they're trying to get more data so they can better effectively campaign on Facebook and other places.
Well, David, let's talk about the billionaire in the room, Michael Bloomberg. This will be his first 2020 debate appearance. What are you expecting?
Well, all of the fire will be on Bloomberg for sure. He is going to be a man with an X on his back and front and head and all of that. Look, why is he rising? I mean, he is rising for sure. I mean, I watch television. There it is, Bloomberg. I mean, it's TV ad after TV ad. $124 million he has spent just on the Super Tuesday states in terms of advertising. He's over $300 million. And this is insane money that we're talking about. Look, I think Biden has proved that he's a bit too old. I think Buttigieg is proving maybe he's a bit too young. Bernie's proving he's a bit too socialist. And here's Mike Bloomberg, who has a bit too much money here. And all of a sudden, boom, you're at 19% and you're on the debate stage and you're the hot ticket. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, speaking of Sanders, Bernie Sanders, he's still leading in most national polls. And David Politico is out with a piece that talks about Nevada really being Bernie Sanders' race to lose here. What do you make of that? How concerned are establishment Democrats?
Oh, they're concerned. There's not even a question about it, to the point where Bloomberg could actually be an option for the Democrat Party just to stop Bernie. Think about it. They're going to turn to a billionaire who used to be a Republican to stop Bernie Sanders. I mean, that's pretty remarkable if you think about it. So, yeah, Bernie has a serious shot, obviously, leading in the national polls. But not just that, Nevada. Remember, if you go back to 2016, he lost Nevada to Hillary Clinton, and that was the beginning of his downfall. Don't think it's going to happen this time.
Well, what if he does win this time? Does that signal that the race, this primary, is getting away from these other Democrats?
No, but there's a but to that. And the but is, let's see what happens on Super Tuesday, because that's going to be the key to all of this. That's where Bloomberg has put all of his, marbles, if you will. He's number one. He's actually leading in Florida on Super Tuesday, and there are a couple other states he's doing well. And so let's wait until March 4th, the morning of March 4th.
David, today, President Trump issued pardons and commutations to 11 convicts, including former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. The president called his 14-year prison term, quote, ridiculous. Is this smart for the president?
Smart for the president. Put that in air quotes and all asterisks around it. I don't know. Look, all I know is I remember the whole Blagojevich situation. It was a nightmare for him politically. It was bad. I mean, he was caught on tape basically saying, look, I'm going to appoint this new senator to replace Barack Obama, and I want something for it. I mean, it was really dirty in Chicago, and it was disgusting. And now Trump's not pardoning him. He's commuting the sentence, which means the conviction stands, but the jail time goes away, and he's out of jail. So, look, I will just say this. Blagojevich, and here's what's very interesting, Blagojevich specifically thought it was a conspiracy against him. The legislature was a Republican at the time. They didn't pass his tax proposal, and he thought it was retribution at the time. Well, that sounds a little bit like what Trump was up against with impeachment, so it feels a little bit kind of similar.
All right. David Brody, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, to Virginia, where the issue of religious freedom is front and center. State lawmakers are poised to pass a number of non-discrimination bills that some say trample on the religious freedom of churches and other faith-based organizations.
Today, the Family Foundation held a news conference at the state capitol to publicly oppose the bills and sound the alarm on what they would do if they pass.
There's legislation that would create wide-sweeping non-discrimination policies around issues of sexual orientation and gender identity. And because people of faith have different views about what is sexuality and what are genders, they're going to come under the wrath of government for having a counter view. This is the first time we've ever seen something that affects quote-unquote public accommodation, which is very vaguely defined and will sweep in anything that's essentially open to the public.
And Cobb says the Family Foundation will fight for amendments to the bills that will protect faith-based entities. But if they pass as is, the group will appeal to the governor to make the changes.
Here now for more, Gerson Moreno-Riaño, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs at Regent University. Gerson, good to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
As an educator, are you concerned these proposed laws might violate some First Amendment rights along with freedom of conscience?
Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, the laws being proposed really at the end of the day are going to hurt freedom of speech and freedom of religion to express one's religion and religious convictions. And they strike at the core of a fundamental principle of America, which is liberty of conscience and human dignity. When an opinion could be expressed that could be deemed as offensive to someone, and then it's criminalized. And the state of Virginia gives now apparently broad prosecutorial powers to the Attorney General to do so. That's a very dangerous precedent that will be set. So in some ways, we were seeing the expansion of state authority into spheres that have always been protected under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So in higher education, it's certainly alarming. I mean, higher education in America and Christian higher education is premised on the existence of a robust marketplace of ideas, a robust pluralism where ideas can be explored in various areas of inquiry, can be explored. But now it is possible to say that those days are being jeopardized because opinions could be deemed offensive, areas of inquiry could be deemed offensive, and therefore an institution like Regent University and other fine Christian institutions in the country could be, quite frankly, muted in many ways. So it's a very dangerous precedent.
As you point out, these laws would expand the Attorney General's prosecuting powers. Why do you think that's dangerous?
Well, as the laws are written, the powers are expanded with very little criteria for evidence. As a matter of fact, sometimes the language is used that civil actions can be started for harassment or that could occur. So the law is being written in such a way now that we're going to begin to legislate to go after hypothetical activities based on what the Attorney General or someone in that office could think would happen. So imagine that. I mean, in some ways, what we're seeing is not just the expansion of a state authority, but also the enforcement of a certain type of authoritarianism that will lead many to be, quite frankly, be silenced and not speak, whether it's in churches or Christian universities or many other places. And that's very, very scary. Again, there should be evidence, there should be an investigation into those cases of harassment if they were to exist. But to argue that the Attorney General, the chief law enforcement officer of the state of Virginia, could initiate civil actions based on what he or she may think is happening or what could happen, again, very, very scary. And again, I think to a degree we're trying to mute freedom of expression and freedom to practice my religion or one's religion.
Gerson, you know, these laws are intended to protect LGBTQ people, but do you fear they force a one-sided identity?
Yes, it's a great question. Identity is in many ways the question of the day. It's another word for liberty of conscience. And looking at a democracy like our own, it's absolutely vital that citizens have the ability to express their identities throughout the country. What's happening here is that you're having the state leave its neutral position and make an argument on the side of one particular identity against other arguments for other identities. It strikes at the heart of a democracy and robust pluralism. They're absolutely essential for democracies to flourish. When you eliminate that and you side with one and you put state power behind it, institutions, universities, churches, many other places are going to be significantly damaged.
Yep. Thank you. Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Gerson Moreno-Riaño with Regent University, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, the Old Dominion threatening to turn its laws blue. And that has some Virginians thinking about heading west.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Welcome back. Well, major changes are happening in Virginia, and it has some in the Commonwealth thinking about heading west.
It's a result of newly empowered Democrats in Richmond turning the state's laws blue. Many folks in the Commonwealth actually have more in common with their brothers across the mountains in West Virginia than they do with their fellow Virginians in more urban areas. And now they have an invitation to join them.
What originally started as moral support has morphed into something much more.
West Virginia State Delegate Gary Howell is inviting his disaffected neighbors to cross the line and switch sides, so to speak.
We see that kindred spirit on the other side of the mountains, and that's why we want to give that help to our fellow Virginians. They're just like us.
He's behind a resolution that would allow Virginia localities, with the permission of their local and state governments plus West Virginia voters, to join the Mountaineer State. Any locality can join, not just those along the state border. The Democratic majority in Virginia's legislature is churning out a slew of new laws on abortion, gun control, and special LGBT protections. Many longtime Virginians no longer recognize their state.
Have you had any takers?
We have, Virginia counties reaching out to us.
Tonight, some folks in our area are hoping to take West Virginia up on an offer to join them.
VEXIT, or the Virginia Exit, has shown up on at least one Board of Supervisors agenda, and other localities are reportedly interested. Howell is fielding practical questions about whether or not professional licenses would transfer.
We've looked at integrating state police, highways, retirement system.
Even West Virginia's governor is on board.
If you're not truly happy where you are, we stand with open arms to take you from Virginia or anywhere you may be. We stand strongly behind the Second Amendment, and we stand strongly for the unborn.
Governor Justice, who dramatically changed his party affiliation to Republican at a Trump rally, says his state offers beauty, a growing economy, and a motto many Virginians may find appealing: Mountaineers are always free.
Richmond has a habit of upsetting the counties to the west, and it's a pattern for Richmond.
West Virginia split from Virginia in 1863 over disagreements about the Civil War.
Somebody asked me once, said, do you think this is the start of the next Civil War? And I said, no, this is what prevents it.
Wow, well, every 10 years, legislative lines are redrawn, and Delegate Howell suggests it's time to look at states' boundaries, some of which are hundreds of years old and may no longer make sense. When we come back, why the Boy Scouts are filing for bankruptcy over sex abuse claims. Stay with us. I may have read that wrong.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy?
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Tonight, the Boy Scouts are filing for bankruptcy.
This in the wake of hundreds of sex abuse lawsuits filed against the organization. The Scouts hope to work out a potentially enormous plan to compensate the victims in the lawsuits and let the 110-year-old organization carry on. Scores of lawyers are seeking settlements on behalf of several thousand men who say they were molested by Scoutmasters or other leaders decades ago. And joining us now is Jake Roberson, the Director of Communications at the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. Jake, thank you for being with us. The Boy Scouts say this bankruptcy filing helps the organization compensate sexual abuse victims, but are they doing enough?
I don't think that we can say that there's truly ever enough that can be done to help victims of sexual abuse, particularly when we're looking at instances where systems have been in place for years that failed to protect children from the abuse by adults. And so although they're saying that this is meant for better and more equitable compensation for these victims, that sells short the idea of what it means to have justice and what it means to have healing and compensation for these abuses. And by filing for bankruptcy, now hundreds of these cases where these individuals were looking to come forward and share their stories, those are all put on pause, and they may never get their chance to tell their story in front of a jury of their peers and make the Boy Scouts of America face the full weight of the sexual abuse that happened under its watch.
Jake, how would you rate the Boy Scouts' response here to those of other institutions who've been in similar situations, like the Catholic Church?
Yeah, there's certainly some similarities. Many dioceses did a similar thing, and a lot of the analysis says that was meant to protect other properties, local properties and parishes from claims. And the Boy Scouts of America themselves, in their open letter on this issue, tried to make draw a very distinct line between their overarching organization and then their local chapters. But again, legal experts are a little bit divided on whether or not that ultimately provides the protection that they're likely looking for, and whether or not there should be protection, because in many of these cases, the actions and lack of actions of local chapters of the Boy Scouts of America ought to be held liable for the abuses that occurred under their watch as well. You know, this is a problem. This is a failure for the overarching Boy Scouts of America, but it doesn't mean that the local chapter should be protected for their liability and accountability in these matters. And so that's where there could be some problems with this development.
Jake, quickly, the Boy Scouts say they have safeguards to prevent this from happening again. Are other institutions guilty of allowing sexual exploitation?
Oh, certainly. What we have in America right now, particularly in the age of digital advancement and technological advancement, are many corporations that lack the policies, that lack the protections in place to protect their consumers, especially children. That's a big thing that we do and focus on through our Dirty Dozen list. You can see that at dirtydozenlist.com. Is looking at how these
Jake,
mainstream
we're so sorry. We have to.
Institutions.
Well, we're so sorry. We have to leave it there, but we really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
We'll be right.
I am Regent's first ROTC graduate student.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres-Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Finally tonight, the miraculous survival story at the Daytona 500.
On the last lap, Ryan Newman spun out of control, colliding with another driver, flying into the air and landing on the roof of his car. Newman is in serious but not life-threatening condition. Following driver Corey LaJoy says Ryan's survival is a testament to NASCAR's safety efforts.
It's a very, very scary crash, but the fact that he's still with us and he can hopefully make a full recovery is it's just a testament to the NASCAR R&D group and how safe they're trying to make these race cars.
Today marks the 19th anniversary of racing legend Dale Earnhardt's death in the same race. Since then, no driver has died in a NASCAR race. What an amazing story.
Yeah, a lot of well-wishers, including the president, who was tweeting about it earlier. Well, that's going to do it for Faith Nation.
Thanks for joining us.